And yeah, man, finishing this year strong. That's it right there, bro. That's what we on. That's what we on, man. How everybody else doing? How we doing?
What's that word, man?
What's up, man?
What's going on, family?
Yo,
Good.
yo,
What's
what's
good?
good?
Made
What's
it
What's
to the
good,
end
going
of the
y'all?
on?
year.
What's going on?
What'd you say, KB?
Made it to the end of the year.
Man,
Yes,
it's the last
sir.
call, bro.
Another
Golly,
year in the
bro.
books, man. Can y'all believe we've been knowing each other for 10 plus? Some of us.
Crazy.
10
Bro, 10 plus
plus.
years,
We was
man.
on we was on bicycles, man. Come on now.
Bro, bicycles. Hey, not only that, it's like on top of that, it's just like the year itself. Like it was so many haymakers this year, and niggas still made it through. You know what I'm saying? Like we made it all the way to the end of the year, bro. So much shit been going on in life. You know, like I said on the last call, the money be funny sometimes. People done lost relationships. We done lost family members. You know what I mean? And God still got us here, bro. And that's why, man, just gotta be grateful every day. Like every day. Like even when days be bad, even when shit be not going the way you want it to, like you just gotta be grateful, bro. Like, bro, I'm still here. Like, I still got a chance to figure this shit out. You know what I mean? So, man, we blessed, bro. Like, straight up, we blessed. But yeah, how everybody doing though? I know we about to get into it. We got a couple guys coming in late. They on Troy call. He finishing up right now. The little option call that they had, but we about to get into it, man. We about to get into it.
It's been a hell of a year.
Yeah, hell of a year.
Hell of a year, man. Man, KB, where you at with it, man? How you feeling?
Man, I'm a year in it now, a full year, fellas. So I feel like I done took some L's, learned some lessons, made some money. I'm just excited to be in it for the rest of my life, man.
Man, what I want other people to chime in too. What y'all think that was y'all biggest lesson this year?
Over leveraging and emotional
Mm.
discipline. Not staring at the charts all
Mm.
day for sure. And then not being on social media all day, you gonna see niggas' opinions. You think, oh, this nigga been doing it for a minute. And that's gonna throw you off your strategy. But set your strategy up and shoot. Don't let everything else is noise. What I'm trying to say. Don't get
Bro,
swayed by others' opinions, bro.
KB.
Yo,
Same, bro. Same. Like
yeah,
we had rapped a couple weeks ago. We had spoke about just kind of mastering your emotions. And I spoke to the aspect of like relationships, but this is very different. Like this is very much like you learn. I've definitely learned about a lot about myself just in this, in trial and error, you know what I'm saying, learning new strategies, staying disciplined to my rules. It's stuff like that that like I've learned so much about myself in that right there.
trying to tell you.
What
Man,
else?
when you see your account go down after you done set your plate up, you done charted the chart, and that motherfucker go down, oh man. You're like, man, what's happening?
What else? What else, man? That's good, bro. What else? Anybody else learn something from this past year? Somebody
Man,
chime
when I learned, man, once you get the right people
Mhm.
in the group, anything is possible, man. Exchanging
in?
knowledge, you know, I think that's really key in this whole thing that I learned is really like when you get everybody aligned, you're in alignment with people and you're in an environment where you're not afraid to ask questions and shit like that. It's like it becomes more and more like a family. So
And that's what
um
it feel like. That's what it feel like. And
yeah,
you like you said, like who you surround yourself with, bro. No one gets there alone. Like, bro, who you surround yourself with. They always say, you show me the four people that you hang around, I'm gonna show you your future. I think people don't be really taking that serious though. Like you surround yourself with people that's all focused, that's all on a mission, that's all trying to make it, bro. Every aspect of your life gonna start improving. That's in the gym. That's eating healthy. That's um in investing. That's in your relationships, bro. You just naturally around people that are on a different type of timing, bro. It just naturally, just indirectly, just pass off onto you, bro. But the same thing. But if you watching this gossip shit all day, If you trying to see, if you really all day talking about this Diddy documentary, if you sitting there talking about, what's going on with 50 Cent and what he got going on, and you just sitting there trying to figure out what's going on with Lil Baby and 21 Savage and Young Thug, and that shit it's gonna pass off onto the other niggas that you around, bro. That's why what we walking into 2026 like some giants, dog. We coming different next year. You know what I'm saying? We coming different. I want to hear like at least one or two more people, man. What else y'all learned this year, man? Then we gonna get into it.
Uh, Definitely just continuing to just be grateful in the process.
Mm.
I feel like that's very important. Like just loving where you're at in the journey and just knowing that if you got an opportunity to breathe, wake up the next day, then you got an opportunity to, get your dream that day, and there's no sky's the limit on
Yes,
anything.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. One more person, man. Then we gonna get into it.
I would say, man, networking, man. That's the best thing that I learned this year. Networking, building relationships. It's kind of some of the most important things, man. When you trying to be successful, man, you got to be able to know how to put yourself in the room and put yourself in a position. Like,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, everybody says something great, bro. But man, let's get into it, man. Last call of the year, man. Let's have a great one. So, Oracle news. Did we see that? That Oracle news, man. So that Oracle, man, Oracle been getting cooked, dog. I think they touched the high with like 355, I think 345, and they've been falling ever since, bro. We put a play in around the 200 area. I think that was a 200 area. Yeah, around the 200 area, we put one in 215, and then we averaged down around, I think it was like one, yeah, 188. We averaged down around. Right now, Oracle after hours off of the news is at 190, right? Up $10 after hours. They just announced that the TikTok deal. Keys been talking about it for the past couple weeks, past month or two. Him and Malcolm gonna be on here in a second. Him, Malcolm, and Niles gonna be on here in a second. But bro, that Oracle news is big, right? The TikTok CEO basically said they agreeing to have the US take ownership over TikTok, right? But not 100% ownership, right? Let me break this down. So 15% of it is going to Oracle. 15% of it is going to Silver Lake, a company out here. And then another 15% is going to MGX, a company in Abu Dhabi, right? So altogether, that's about a 45% total market share they're going to have of TikTok. And then that rest of that 5% to get to 50%, it says it was just some other members, other investors, right? Then you got another 30% held already by pre-existing investors. And so these are like your big hedge funds. Like it's a company called General Atlantic, KKR, Cool Capital, and Subsequana. Right? These are just investment firms, these hedge funds that already own a big percentage of TikTok. And then the last 19% is retained by ByteDance, right? The parent company of TikTok. So they get that 19%, they hold on to that, but the rest of that thing is cut up, bro. The rest of that thing is cut up. This is the news that Oracle has been looking for, but most importantly, this is the news that Larry Ellison been looking for, right? If y'all don't know, Larry Ellison is like Trump's billionaire homie, his right-hand man's. They just announced yesterday that Paramount is not gonna get that deal. They're not gonna get that deal. Paramount is not gonna get the Warner Brothers deal. Warner Brothers said they gonna go ahead and go with Netflix. They don't care about the money that Paramount is offering them. And now they saying, yo, you know what? Y'all lost that deal. And then what happens? That next day, out of nowhere, the news that Oracle gets TikTok. I mean, is that a coincidence, bro? Like it's getting to a point, bro. Like we able to see what's going on. Like nigga, y'all couldn't hide it. At least wait a week, bro. At least wait a week. So I feel like Oracle with that good news, and I feel like with some more good news, and then they get like a string of good news over the next couple weeks, Oracle will be back on its way back to the top. So make sure y'all look out for Oracle play. They do have a lot of debt though. They do got a lot of debt that we talked about, but still though, Oracle might be one of those ones that runs, bro. It might be one of those ones that run. So we already in an Oracle play. We got that out to the end of February, close to March. We got that out for a little minute, so we're gonna see what they do. We're gonna see what they do at 8:30 my time, so it's 8:12 my time. So in about 18 minutes, and then from 8:30 to about I think like 2 o'clock in the morning, we're gonna get some clarity on Japan interest decision. Right? We talked about it last week, where Japan they about to decide on the interest rates, right? And if you don't know, just break it down real quick, right? The interest rates are based off of how much you being charged to take a loan out, right? Everyone knows that when you go to Japan, they got these loans for dirt cheap. They like free almost. Like you don't gotta pay no interest on them. They've recently just said we thinking about hiking interest rates so we can combat inflation over there in Japan. So what happens is if this does go through, they do raise interest rates. People that have borrowed these loans for free, you automatically you owe now, right? You already owed the loan back, but now you owe interest on it. So how do you get that money back to pay the interest you own? You start liquidating your loans. You start taking your loans out. What are you taking your loans out of? The stock market. So they had something last year called the Japan yen carry trade, where this same situation happened when people started liquidating their loans from Japan. The market fell off like I think it was like 100, 200 points. Market fell was bleeding last year around October, bleeding. So we get a decision in over the next 6 hours, they're gonna give us a decision on that. So that's definitely something that we need to look out for. Right now, SPY is down almost $2. So I don't know if the news done leaked. Let me see. I'm looking at this in real time, y'all. Let me see. I don't know if the news done leaked. Hold on. SPY is down almost $2. Let's see. I ain't seeing nothing right now. I should get a notification if we get something. But yeah, we're just watching that. So definitely look out for that. If you see the market just start bleeding, 9 times out of 10 tonight, that's the reason why. So definitely look out for that. That Santa rally. Y'all think we getting that Santa rally? Y'all think we getting that Santa rally?
I think we're gonna get it.
You
And
think
I still
so?
think it's intact. We never had 3 years in a row where the Santa rally doesn't happen. I'm gonna send a statistic in the chat. But yeah, I think it's gonna happen. If we're gonna bleed again, it's gonna be tomorrow, and then we're gonna be off to the races.
You know that
Hopefully.
a couple people done said, the highs are in for the year though.
That could be true, but we could still have a rally up into the all-time highs, up into next year.
We can still have a rally. And that's kind of why, bro, like we talked about earlier, bro, you don't know, bro. Especially with Trump in office, bro. Like, you don't know. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. We did not expect for him to put tariffs on every country on the planet and the market to sell off. We didn't expect that. You don't know. We didn't expect the market to run from 4,800 to almost 7,000, not 2 years later, but 6 months later. You know, he could do something crazy and say, you know what? We're gonna go 7,000 this year. If we go 7,000, that means stocks are about to fly for the last 2 weeks of this year. And we will get that center rally. So just by the numbers, the center rally is the last 5 trading days of the year plus the first 5 days of the new year. All right. So the last 5 days of the trading year plus the first 5 days of the next year. So that means those 5 days to end this year and the 5 days of next year, they showing Santa rally. They showing that we might pop green. We might have a great end to this year and a great start to next year. So I think KB, I had wrote the numbers down. It says 19 of the last 25 years have been green. 19 of the last 25 years, the end of the year has been green. It says the past 2 years, so 2024 and 2023, they were red. It says in 56 years, this period has never posted 3 straight negative years in a row. 3 straight negative years in a row. And 56 years. So we had a red year to end the year 2023. We had a red year to end the year 2024. It's 2025. It's set off of the data. I'm just looking at the stats. 56 years in a row. We've never had 3 years red in a row to end the year. So, if this proves true, we about to make a lot of money to end this year off. We're about to make a lot of money to end this year off. We're about to make a lot of money. So that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to. But we got to be ready for anything, right? So let me get to these charts though. I want to show y'all some of these charts real quick. Is there any charts y'all want me to show off, Rick? KB, you been looking at something?
Can you
Man,
take a look at
them precious metals I want to look at the silver futures and the precious metals.
Okay, bad. Say
I got
less.
a question on something.
Throw in CLS, GEV, and
He said
let's
CLSGV. He said the precious metals.
and light if you can. You already did like do ISRG. You don't gotta do all of them, but just a couple good ones.
I got you. First off, I'm gonna do this SPX real quick. Right, and this is for I'm gonna actually give y'all a quick breakdown of my trading strategy. It take like a couple seconds, couple minutes, just a concept, and I'll show y'all later if y'all want me to show y'all again. But I should have showed y'all this a long time ago. So with that Fibonacci retracement, right, this is one of the easiest ways to find your levels, right, in the market. That fib, clicking that fib, taking it from the high and taking it to that low on the screen, you're going to be able to kind of see those levels of where the stocks could resist or the stocks could support, right? So when I blow this up, right, if we got that high up here on this SPX, right, that high was around 69.12. It got a little closer there. It don't got to be perfect, but it got a little closer there, 69.02. Recently it got to, right? If we can see this, let me delete this one. If we can see this will actually show us levels where we think the stocks are going to go. So if you don't have a Fibonacci retracement, this is something that you should look into. Fibonacci retracement. You can look it up. You can find it on your trading view. This is very important to use, especially if you're a beginner. I should have been told you about this, right? And so if you look at it, and I got mine blacked out. If you look at it, if you see today, right, we got a little close yesterday at that close to that level, and then we popped, right? We popped, but where do we pop to, right? We opened here at this level here, that green level, and then we shot up. We shot up, and then we can obviously tell it was some resistance up here. We can obviously tell it was some resistance up here in this area. Why is it resistance up here? Because every time this candle here, this candle here, this candle here, this candle here, every time it keeps touching this area in here, it sells off. Does that make sense? Every time it touches this area right here, it sells off. It came back up, it touched this area again, it sold off. It came back and touched this area again, it sold off again. Today, It came and touched that area again. It sold off. The last candle of the day came and touched this area again. It sold off. So that means this area is a huge resistance area, right? Remember, resistance is like a ceiling, support is like a floor. Resistance is like a ceiling. If the stock is going up, resisting to keep going up, that's like a ceiling. You capped right there. That's where you see a lot of sellers come in or people that are starting to short the market. And then a floor, that's the opposite way. When you see a floor, you're going down the opposite way. When you're going down, where does it stop at in reverse? Right? Where does it stop at in reverse? So it looks like from here, I mean, we got to let this play out a little bit more, but the floor was here for a second, right? This number right here is that 67.63. Why was the floor there for a second? Because it came down and touched and it popped. Right here, it popped up again. Yesterday, it actually broke that floor. So when it broke that floor, that means where's the
Internet,
next floor?
right? Think about the internet. When ChatGPT needed to train its models, when Perplexity needed to train its models, when Claude needed to train its models, Anthropic, they had to scour the internet. Well, it's the internet, right? Like when we
Somebody not
search,
muted.
where do we go?
Somebody mute that mic.
I ain't know bro was talking to
I
us or
said,
what.
damn, Troy in this bitch.
Right? You talk about the number two search engine in YouTube. Both the
Thought
same
that was
fucking.
bro.
So if they're
Hey,
scouring
mute your mic,
everything
bro.
throughout the World Wide Web
Go
and they're
ahead and
going to the
add Troy in
source,
this
well,
motherfucker.
the source controls what you
Man, give us some
actually
game,
are
Troy. Come
allowed to
on.
see.
Who
So
is
if Google, right? We talked about how important DeepMind was, that investment in 2015.
Hey, he came here with Troy on the mic, man. That's what's up, though. That's what's up, though. Well, yeah, let me finish looking at this chart, though. But yeah, so when it comes to a floor, though, when we looking at the floor, we coming down and we trying to see where is the price going to reject and go back to the upside, right? So when we was looking at SPX yesterday, it actually broke this floor right here. So when it broke this floor right here, our next question is where's the next floor, right? Okay, cool. It came down here. We got that CPI data overnight, and we popped back up to the upside. So now it looks like the floor goes back to where the floor was before we broke this level. Look, we came down today, touched. Y'all see this? Touched that floor again. We pop back up. Same thing at the end of the day, that last candle, we touched again, pop back up. So now we see this is a key level that we need to be looking out for tomorrow. That's that 67, 60 area. That's a key level that we need to be looking out for tomorrow. If we touch again and pop, we should be headed back to the upside. If we break this level again tomorrow, 67, 60, we could be headed lower. We could be headed lower. All right. So that's just how I look at the fib. That's just for beginners. That's just some easy stuff that you can use when you're using that Fibonacci retracement just in the beginning. And if you need help setting your fib up, I'll definitely help you. Just let me know. All right. So that was SPX. I think he said he wanted to look at what did he say? CLS.
CLS.
Hey Nate, can you
G.
look at Hood once you get a second?
Yep. Did you end up getting in hood?
Nah.
I got you though. Actually, hood is up first. Actually, let's look at it. Then we get down to CLS, KB. Okay, look. All right. So look at hood here. Actually, let me go get the fib again so we can see this from that top up here to that bottom. Y'all see that bottom right there? Actually, let me redo it. Yeah. From that top there all the way to that bottom there. Yeah, I like that there. Yeah. Cool. Okay, cool. So look at this. So look at this. So when it comes to hood, we were talking about another investor that got in a 150 I think it was the 150 calls in this area up here, right? In this area up here, just a little too high for us, right? Just a little too high for us. But eventually this thing came down, right? This thing came down, and now look at the fib like I was talking about. We can see inside of the fib, it'll show us what levels that were resistance and what levels had good support, right? So in the action right here, we can see in this area inside from this level to this level has been a good area to buy. Y'all follow me? So from over here in this area all the way to over here, this is kind of where that action been at, right? So if that action been in here, this was a good level to buy. We actually got in here and we bought around the 116 area, right? It ended up popping up, end up coming back down, popping up, coming back down. But what does that show us? That shows that this is a good area of support where buyers are coming in. And what does this area show us? That this is where the resistance is. This is showing us this is where the resistance is. Okay, so if we know that, that means we need to keep in mind this level down here, 112, if that breaks down, we could be headed down, what was that last support down there, to about 104. If this level breaks down, we can see, yeah, that 112 is that line. So we watching that 112 tomorrow. And then if we pop back to the upside, we watching to get over this area from 121 to 125. If we can break through 121 and 125, we can head it back. We can be headed back up to 150. I hope that's making sense. I hope that's making sense. If we can break through this area 121 and 125, get some strength through there and not sell off again, we could be headed back up to 150. If not, though, and it's still selling pressure, we could be headed back down to 112. We could be headed back down to 112. We're going to see if buyers come in at 112 and pop us back to the upside. Nigel, was it something else that you want to see on there?
Nah. I appreciate you.
Cool, cool. Is that making sense to everybody? How we doing that? How we breaking that down?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Okay, now let me see this CLF KB was talking about. Yeah, CLS been getting punched a little bit, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Same thing with that fib. Put it at that top up there. Put it at that bottom right there. Okay. Let's see what we got now. And this is something that while we on our break, before the year is over, before we get into January, everybody should be looking up on YouTube. Everybody should be asking me. Everybody should hit in the group chat. Everybody should be watching Market Mondays, watching Wall Street Trapper, watching all these guys that trade. You should be learning every single day on what you're looking at. All right. I'm not saying that you need to be the greatest trader ever or the perfect chart reader, but you should know the basics. You should know a green candle, meaning that the stock market is going up. And you should know that the red candle means that the stock is going down. Basics. When we get into support, you should know where are the floors. If the stock is falling down, where is the floor where it's potentially going to reverse and go back to the upside? That's the floor. Okay, the ceiling. Where if it keeps going up, where is a good level where it might sell off or it won't get over that ceiling? It's that ceiling right there. It keep trying to break through that ceiling. Okay, that's resistance. I should be able to I should be able to notice resistance and support every time I look at a chart. Every time I look at a chart. So this chart that KB is talking about, the CLS. So looks like in this area, right? This area of CLS looks like this is a strong area. So don't be surprised if we get some good news tomorrow and I put a CLS play in tomorrow, right? Because it's down in this area, And we can tell from the past, right? Last time it touched this area, right? Last time it touched this area about 262, it shot up to about 360, 362. 100-point move. Okay, cool. Let's see it again. It came down and touched again recently. 262 right here. It shot back up to about 344. Okay, cool. So that means this was an area of support. That means this is the area of support. So the next time it come back down to this level, it might pop back to the upside. Right? We seeing that? So this might be a good area. If we break this 262, we could be headed lower. Right? We could be headed lower. We got that 200-day EMA down here. Right? We got that 200-day EMA down here. I think that's a 200-day. Yep. 200-day EMA down here. We could be headed down to that 200-day EMA. Or we could be headed down to this gap fill right here. See this gap fill? That's about 220. So depending on the news that we get from Japan and the news that we get tomorrow, that could be headed down to 220, or we could recover here. Oops. We could recover here and we could be headed back to the upside. We could be headed back to the upside. So that's that CLS. Let me see what else we got. I think he said GEV and then silver. We're gonna look at silver and then we'll be done with the chart. Let's see. Yeah, that GEV be moving, boy. Let me see. Same thing, go get that fib. Put it at the top up here. Put it at that bottom down there. Put it at that bottom down there. All right. Let's see. So this GEV, I mean, this joint be moving, bro. Right? This joint popped from, what was that? 623, and it popped to 730. So about 110-point move in about a day or two. 100-point move in about a day or two. And then on the flip side, it came and filled that gap. It dropped from 687 down to 612, about a 70-point move to the downside. Then today it popped from 613, touched the high of 659, and it sold off a bit. All right, so what are we seeing in here? This area down here, this might be a key level to buy, right? If it keeps defending this area, right? It got that 50-day, that 100-day, right? Those moving averages right there as well. So that's like, okay, cool. That might be a good area for me to buy, right? If we break below this area, okay, what's the next level I think we can buy it? We're going to see if it go and touch that 576. But if it holds strong, we could be headed back up to that 728 up there, or that level of that 687, the last place it was huge resistance at. All right. So that's that GEV. I would look to get in the GEV play. Let me see. Yeah, from his high, I would be looking to get into a GEV play, potentially at that 576. Anywhere around that 576 and under, I'll be looking to get in a GEV play. I'll be looking to get into a GEV play, 576. Just depends, though, on the news, right? Remember, news trumps everything. Charts look good. Trump could come out tomorrow and say, blah, 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 it is, F everybody. Market sell off again. You looking at the chart trying to figure out what's going on. We're going to look at one more silver and then we good. He set the silver futures. Let me see. I think we got that silver.
Yeah, bro, my bad. I'm over here rapping Little Man Christmas gift.
Nah, you good.
Got the phone propped up watching.
So it looked like silver been going silly. Y'all see that? Silver and gold. Silver and gold been going silly. So, when it comes to a silver play, the precious metals, you know, those silver and that gold, those are always going to be plays of safety, right? Used as a hedge. If people are very scared about the stock market, they usually rotate into your precious metals because your metals, they assets over time, right? They're assets over time. So when you start seeing people rushing to silver, rushing to gold, they usually are pretty skeptical about equities, about the stocks, about stocks and equities, right? And so I think that's the reason why silver been going crazy. But you know, it's pretty weird because the more that the stock market goes up, the more that you see silver and gold have been going up. So it's kind of like the more people that have been pouring money into stocks, the more people have been pouring money into the precious metals too. So what does that mean? Because if you look at this silver chart right here, this joint been going silly, right? From $44 all the way up to about $60. That's that. I think that might be telling us something. That might be telling us something. Let's see this a little bit closer. That might be telling us something. All right. So first things first, where is that resistance at? It looked like that resistance is at about $60, right? Came and touched once, came down, came and touched again, it sold off. Where is that next support at? It looked like that support is around that $57. Okay, so in between here, right, are those key levels. I got my resistance right here and I got my support right here. One thing that I learned a long time ago that I gotta continue to be disciplined in is never buy in the middle of these areas. Always wait for confirmation is what they say. Always wait for confirmation. So I gotta either wait till it come down here to this support, or I gotta wait for it to come down up to this resistance. Never buy in the middle because this is called no man's land. It hasn't picked a direction. It don't know if it want to go back up. It don't know if it want to go back down. So always wait, right? And that's one of the biggest challenges for investors and traders, for anybody, bro, is just being patient, bro. When you got access to the stock market and pressing these buttons whenever you want, it's hard to be disciplined and wait because you want to make money right now. You got the opportunity to make money right now, but it's like, yo, if you want to be profitable, if you want to do this for a long time, if you want to potentially make this your career where you don't got to work a job, you got to be disciplined. You got to be patient. You got to be disciplined. You got to be patient. Right. So that's that silver that I'm looking at. Right. I would definitely love to grab this if it comes back down to about um either that 54 range or that 52 range. Anywhere in between there, 54 and about 50 range, I would like to grab silver. I would like to grab silver. I would like to grab silver. So that's what I'm looking at on silver. I think that's everything on the charts. Yeah, we did hood, CLS, GOV. Yeah. So that's everything on the chart. So did all that make sense to everybody? Did all that make sense? Before we finish up the call, finish
Yes,
the last.
sir.
That did make sense.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
appreciate you, bro.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So next things next. I know y'all seen that Robinhood stuff. Y'all been seeing that prediction market stuff. What y'all think about that? Let me hear y'all thoughts on that.
They changing the game, bro. I'm telling you.
They're trying to monopolize it. They trying to create a monopoly. That's awesome though. Just like think the average person that want to bet on sports and at stocks, it's really grabbing a young generation. That's what I think.
It really is. Because you really don't see your old heads, your 60, 70-year-olds player props and shit. You know what I mean?
being able to bet on the Grammys, that's gonna bring in a whole new crowd, you know?
A whole new crowd. And I had watched the whole event from the other day. Just a couple things that they bring into the platform is that you can bet on sports, you can bet on world news, and you can bet on entertainment.
And you
Then
can
what do you say?
nah, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then you're gonna be able to make your own parlays, but this time is different, bro. They are changing the game, bro. You are gonna be able to make your parlays are called combos. You're gonna be able to make your combo across different industries on your same ticket.
So you might have a football play in, a Grammy play in, or some craziness all on one.
That bro, that's I don't even know what to say about that. You could say I think Kendrick gonna win a Grammy this year. I think
Bro,
the Rams are gonna win, and I think Elon is gonna sell
bro,
400,000 cars this month. You can put that on the
bro.
same ticket.
Let me tell you, nigga. Let me just add on to that. Bro, put this in perspective. We just broke this down on a call. Bro, mind blowing. Every kid that was born from January 1st from here on out is going to get a what? What did they
$1,000,
say?
wouldn't it?
$1,000. Who has to hold? Who is fintech savvy? They're not thinking. Our generation ain't thinking about no Charles Schwab. What was he just saying the other day?
Yep.
Line it up now. Who is that candidate? And it's so crazy, bro. I was just saying this the other day. Who is the candidate that will be savvy enough to take in our generation and to take on from here this year on forward that is the most savvy, most investor friendly platform that's easy to use? Who is that number one candidate?
Robinhood,
Come on now. Come
man.
on now.
Bro, I'm watching the video and Vlad called it. He said it's not even a stock. We're not even a stock company no more. He said, I want people to reference us as a financial super app. A financial super app where you're gonna be able to bet on the Grammys. You're gonna be able to bet on, bro. He has on here, you're gonna be able to bet on what is the weather gonna be in Houston, Texas tomorrow. I said, bro, like it's obviously game changing, but this is gonna get dangerous, bro.
Oh yeah, bro. Damn, bro, gambling, bro, it's addictive now. Like, and then they gonna scoop up the money from the people that are getting persuaded by these stock gurus.
Come on now.
Like, bro, they're about to. Oh my goodness, they're about to eat. If you
And
don't
then
love it at 117,
another thing though, like with Robinhood
hey,
and Kyle
for
Shi and all that, they can get
for
away. They don't gotta give into the gambling regulation. That's why they're calling it the predictive markets because there's no house involved.
Mm,
You
and they
trading with
calling it wager. Their
wagering,
language.
yeah.
so me and Nate betting on the weather, he betting against me. He not betting against no casino. So they don't gotta play by the same rules.
Mm. Jeez. Hey, man. And that is why they say, he said, since they've launched the prediction markets around this time last year, they have had 10 billion contracts traded, right? Not bets put in, traded, bro. Like J. Cole just said, that is, bro, that terminology is, bro, that terminology changes the game. Because like he said, you're not betting against the casino and the casino taking your money and then you got to pay taxes on that. You're betting against your homie or somebody on the other side. If I say I think Kendrick Lamar gonna win a Grammy, and J. Cole or Keys say I think Dre gonna win it, we can put a bet in. I got a G on it. You got a G on it, bro. What this is gonna do is gonna revolutionize the game from getting people out of the streets and getting them onto Robinhood. You know how many niggas in the streets be like, nigga, I got 50 on Bron. And he like, nigga, I got 50 on Steph, I got 50 on Curry. Bro, you are now about to be able to do it on the app where not only is it safer, but it's more legitimate. You know, you gotta sometimes bro, dealing with black people, you know, sometimes a nigga owe you money, that nigga ain't gonna talk to you no more. He gonna block your ass. When you got a Robinhood app, you got everything on the app. So if you lose, the money automatically get deposited into bro account. Or if I lose, the money already get deposited into my account. I don't gotta go about the riffraff or texting your ass or hey bro, send me the money, send it to this. Bro, the money is already in the bank. Not only with that, bro, another thing from the Robinhood event that I was watching. Bro, this nigga is changing the game, man. He said you are going to be able to create your own markets. What does that mean? So just like they got the entertainment market now, where you can bet on who's going to win a Grammy, and now they got the sports market. Now you're going to be able to bet on who do we think is going to win this Pro-Am game at the crib? Who do we think is going to be next up on stage at EYL? Now I'm the guy that created this on side the platform. It's gonna be called the EYL bet off. We're gonna be like, who do you think is coming out next on the stage? It's gonna be Steve Harvey, Tyler Perry, Troy Rashad, and who do we think is gonna come out next? Bro, you're gonna be able to create your own market that you want people to bet into. Bro, they are changing the game, bro. They are changing the game, bro. Like I think it's gonna get dangerous because niggas already are addicted to gambling. You got a better chance at me personally, you got a better chance at predicting on player props and sports, entertainment, world events than you do going to get the scratch offs at the gas station. Bro, this is about to change an entire generation. My folks, my OGs, my grandparents, all they know is going to get the ticket scratch off, bro. That's their generation. We in a new generation where all we gonna know is only betting on entertainment, betting on games, betting on world events, and betting on sports. We not even gonna be custom like the generation coming up. They're not even gonna be custom to what a scratch off is, bro.
Hey, I got a question.
What's up, bro?
Man, I saw a couple weeks ago, they was talking about how forecasting in the future potentially one a non-negotiable is going to happen regardless, but coupled with this, the new poverty line is going to be somewhere around 130, 140, 130,000 per person, right? And when you think about
You talking about that? You talking about that?
no, I'm talking about like as an individual, like if you
Yeah.
do not make $130,000 a year, you were that's the poverty line. Coupled with the fact of them flooding the market financially to where like you know what, I'm speaking in the government tone. We're gonna take care of everything. We're gonna let you put gas in your car. We're gonna let you live, and it be optional to work. So essentially, they spoon feed everybody and keep them like trapped. Essentially, like if you don't make a certain amount of money and you're not a business owner, we gonna take care of everything else as far as the business of the state. Do y'all think that has anything to do with all this? Them like basically opening up the floodgates as far as being able to play with money with more than just sports? Like I really do feel like that's a distraction for them to be like, okay, cool. Like y'all seen Elon Musk can give $1 million to every American and still be up 200 plus billion. So I think like as we play the game and learn the game, obviously that's important. But I do think like they're playing a larger game by one, keeping people distracted, obviously, but then also like that monetization situation. Like if they can control every person's under a certain umbrella, like there's no room for question. It ain't about who got cash, who got this and got that. If you under a certain dollar amount, we control everything, essentially.
Yeah, we man, I'm glad you brought that up because that was something we was gonna talk about. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, about this book called The Creature of Jekyll Island. I think Tashawn still, I don't know if he finished it yet. I doubt he finished that thing. That thing almost 700 pages, but they talked about universal basic income. And I think J. Cole had said it the other day too, where he said, "Hell nah, I ain't finished that joint." Universal basic income, where the government pays a specific amount to every American citizen, right? And we talked about how that's the end goal for, some people out here, some big dogs out here, some names that are really controlling shit. That is the end goal where we're going to be able to pay everyone a specific amount every single month that you're going to live off of. Where that is what's going to control you now, right? You're not going to make nothing less than that, but you're not going to be in a position where you can make more than that. Where that universal basic income, you're not going to even have to work no more. Elon Musk said, he said it's going to get to a point where we're going to have robots producing so much that you're not even going to have to work no more. We're going to have the robots doing like so much mass production that it's going to start bringing in the income we need to pay down the debt. When that happens, it's going to be like, yo, why do people need to work? And I'm getting about 4 to 5 G's a month to not do anything. Bro, they said the first the first trial sneak peek was the stimulus checks. Was the stimulus checks. They said they were applying how are we gonna get all this money to each of individual American. What's the criteria? Okay, they gotta file taxes. Okay, cool. They had to file taxes the past couple years. Okay, they gotta be American citizen. They gotta have a social security number. Are we gonna do direct deposit? Or are we gonna email? Or are we gonna mail the checks to them? How are we gonna do it? This is what rumored. They said that was kind of like, you know, a sneak peek of how they gonna do it in the future on keeping everybody at this basic income, right? And the one thing about the basic income, when you get to basic income, like I said, they control you now. They control your car now. You got everything is moving to digital and electrical vehicles. What happens when you don't pay your taxes? Somebody was on Twitter laughing. They said they gonna hack your car and they gonna drive your car down to the police station. Your black ass gonna be in jail because you ain't pay no taxes. And I'm like, I was laughing. I'm like, they could probably do that shit, bro. They got control of everything. If it's an electrical vehicle, you letting it drive itself. What if I hack the car and lock the doors and I force your ass to come into the police station? You can't do nothing about it. If everything is digital, they're getting rid of the dollar. So that means everything is digital currency. The money is being sent and received digitally. That means we can track it all through the ecosystem. So we're gonna be able to see how much money you got, how much you worth, how much money you owe, where you sending your money, and where you receiving your money. If we can see it all digitally, we control you. So Braylon, yeah, bro, that's scary, bro, because I definitely think that's kind of like the big play. I think all of this is a distraction. I think the war shit. I think right, Robinhood. I think and then they announced Coinbase. They doing it too. Did y'all see that? Coinbase said that they're gonna start allowing you to have prediction markets as well.
I think another thing,
I think they're trying to keep up with Robinhood. I see them obviously being a competitor, but I see them doing the exact same thing, just Robinhood leading the way with it.
and to expand on what bro was saying, I think like it just talks about the times gold, Bitcoin, silver, all hitting all-time highs in the same year. Like the writings on the wall, like the dollar, when Trump did the Liberation Day shit, the bond market was looking shaky, right? So I think at this point they just throwing out shit like hey, go get some money over here gambling. They talking about 5 times leverage on stocks on
Yeah.
Bitcoin and shit. Like it's just getting like, hey, throw your money in this type shit because they like the writing's on the wall with the dollar. It's like I got to get rid of this cash. I got to do something with it. Everybody kind of pockets looking funny, bro.
You're not lying. And then, like you said, just it's like the setup. Okay, Jerome Powell, he been on some restrictive policy. We got to keep inflation in control. Trump, like, okay, we got to get rid of that nigga. We got to get a nigga in there that's going to keep the money printer on and keep it printing, keep it printing, and keep it printing, keep it printing. Okay, cool. We already got a candidate that we know who we going to replace him with. So that means as we keep printing money, we all know this. The more money they print, the less valuable our dollar become. The more money people get and they go spend it on gambling, they go spend it on prediction markets. They go play these zero DTE option calls. They go start day trading. They go start playing with futures. They go start playing with Forex. All this money is being just passed around and thrown around, bro. Where it's gonna get to a point where something's gonna crack, bro. Something's gonna crack.
It's really just kicking the can down the road because then you just
Kicking it.
you passing the problem to the next generation every time you keep printing like that.
You passing a problem. That is why the number one thing that you should be focused on is buying assets, bro. You can't devalue no asset that's making you money, bro. Like we talked about it last time. This the reason why it's so important to invest now is because you see Nvidia at 170. In 5 years, 2030, Nvidia gonna be at 350. You gonna have people coming into the market asking us, hey Malcolm, bro, what you think about Nvidia at 350? I might grab it. He was like, nigga, we already grabbed it at 150, 110, 120, 170. Bro, you are so late to the game. Like, and that's another thing I want y'all to go. I'm gonna put this video in the group. I want y'all to go watch this over our break before January, before we get back on our call. It's by Scott Galloway. It's his podcast called The Diary of a CEO. And he talked about how a white man like himself got 100 million, 150 million, right? And he said the three things you need to get rich are you need to be in a super city, or you need to be next to a super city. That's like Chicago, like Dallas, like Houston, like New York, like San Francisco, Milan, Ghana, Nigeria, right? London, right? You need to be a part of a super city because the opportunities that you'll get are going to be way better than you being in Oregon, Washington, or Oregon, Washington, South Dakota, North Dakota. You got to be next to a good city. He said that's number one. Number two, you got to be credentialed. He said you either got to have a degree, you got to go get some licenses, or you got to be very certified in a field that you're working in. He said this is going to be the bare minimum of how you're going to be successful moving forward. He said in the old days, you just go get a degree, you straight. He said it's going to get to a point where you're going to have like the Thanos Infinity Gauntlet just to land a job. He said you're gonna have to be so dope just to land a job, bro. It's not just gonna be I'm skilled in this. I'm young, I play sports, I got a business degree, and I got all this going on. I got my own business. He said that's not even gonna cut it no more. He said the number one thing that is gonna cut it is you gotta be in a super city, you gotta be credentialed with the right network. And then the last thing he said, bro, that shocked me, he said, you just gotta be lucky too. I'm like, he said, man, me being born in the 1960s, I was able to get Microsoft at $60 a share. He said, you guys aren't lucky. Like, and it's unfortunate that you guys will never be able to get a Microsoft, a Apple, right? An Eli Lilly at $10 a share. You'll never be able to get it. He said, you'll never be able to get it. He said, you sometimes got to really just be lucky, bro. And that is why I'm saying, bro, the people in 2030 are going to be like, yo, NVIDIA 350, bro, Eli Lilly $2,000. You know what I'm saying? Palantir, $400, bro. Y'all think about buying that? Bro, assets are gonna be the only thing that keeps up with inflation, bro, as this thing keep printing, bro. Assets are the only thing that's gonna be able to keep up with inflation, bro. So to J. Cole point, to Braylon point, bro, it's something coming, bro. And that's why we gotta make sure we just get assets. We gotta have international connections and we gotta get cash flow. We gotta have ways that we make money. We gotta be around the right people too. Community is gonna be so important over the next 5 to 10 years, bro. If you don't have a community you in and you by yourself, bro, you gonna get cooked out here. You're gonna get cooked. If you don't got no community, no brothers, no sisters that you can congregate with and chop it up with and exchange ideas with, and hey, this is what I'm going through, and I might need help right here. This idea, bro. If you don't have that going in the next 10 years, bro, the lone wolf never survives, bro. The lone wolf never survives, bro. The lone wolf never survives, bro. So, man. It's just so much going on, bro. And I just want to make sure that we all in the right situation going into 2026. You know what I mean? So I'm about to open it up. What y'all think, man? How do y'all feel this year went in terms of not just in the market, but just in life in general? Like, was this a challenging year for everybody? Was this, was it cool? Like, was it normal? Like, how y'all feeling?
It was challenging for sure. Definitely challenging. Uh,
What was you doing to get through this year though, Malcolm?
oh, it's definitely investing. I mean, April definitely did me justice. Yeah. No, I doubled down pretty heavy in April for sure.
Yeah,
But definitely a lot of reading, a lot of studying. I mean, to your point, I mean, just being a part of groups and not trying to figure everything out on your own. I mean, I mean, everybody's heard it. I mean, you're just gonna go faster with the right people, versus trying to do it on your own.
yeah,
Especially right now. Especially right now.
yeah, yeah. Anybody else? What y'all
I'll
feel?
say this right now. I'll say it's been challenging for real. For you guys that don't know, I do cybersecurity for the Army and Rolls-Royce. So like you talked about, Nate, trying to get the trifecta with certifications, a degree, and an experience. So working on that, I'm averaging a certification every month. So just trying to build myself up so I can, have that extra money coming in to invest. But like you guys know, April tore us up. So just being patient, and having a team, a pack of lions, can take down anything versus doing it solo. So learned a lot this year, honestly.
Charles, in the cybersecurity space, what do you think? What does the future look like? What have you been seeing in that specific industry that you in?
I ain't gonna lie to you. When you guys talked about, the electric vehicles and all that stuff and how they can, take you down, but a lot of people don't notice that, Tesla and all other industries, they put on hackathons. Like they want you to hack the Teslas and they have rewards. Like I think one of the tech companies like has $1 million reward if you can hack their stuff. So I'm going to these hackathons and I'm seeing these events. Like you got people that are hacking Teslas in like 15 minutes and they're getting 50K, just to do stuff like that. So it's really big, especially with AI. You have like an AI tool that can take down a network in 2 minutes. A lot of people don't know if you get a Flipper Zero, you can do damage with a Flipper Zero. That's a $200 device, and you can pretty much get a Hellcat for free with it. So it's just little stuff like that that I've been working on and doing, that I do in my spare time. And if any of you guys are into like stuff like that, you can hit me up online and I can kind of point you in the right direction. But like cybersecurity is big, and that's why like the salaries are buku. Like I just did an interview with an insurance company, MedPros Group, and they're offering 160,
Like
starting
off
out.
rip, 160, almost 200
Yeah,
off rip.
160. Yeah, 160 fully remote, and that's just the beginning of it. I got, and especially in the military, like I can't even tell y'all what we're working on there because it's all classified. But it's just the stuff I'm seeing is just, it's crazy. That's all I'm gonna say. And keep you on your P's and Q's, which is one of the reasons why I did cybersecurity, because you're going to continue to grow and there's always a new threat that you have to fight against and always keeping your skills honed. So it's a lot going on right now. And I just tell you boys to keep reading, keep studying, and just keep building yourself. Like I'm big on the trifecta: education, certification, experience. You get those three things, you'll start getting jobs that are offering 200 plus, so that's kind of my goal right now. I'm looking at that 200. I need that, that's the goal for 26 is to get something like that. So that's kind of
Would
what
you
I'm
say,
looking.
brother? You said education. What's the trifecta? Education,
It's
what?
trifecta: education, certifications, and experience. Like I have right now, I have a bachelor's in computer engineering, working on a master's in cybersecurity. I have 11 certifications through CompTIA, and then obviously doing military, Rolls Royce, work for Crane. That's all my experience right there. So I'm just trying to level that up. That way, I also have a business as well. I have a business, Will to Win, that does cyber consulting, and I do medical carrier as well. So just trying to build up my
Sheesh.
business
Talk
and
to him,
myself.
Charles.
So just a
Jeez.
little bit, I'm everywhere right now. So I'm just,
Hey,
I'm like,
and a stock account going crazy,
I'm
ain't it?
trying. Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, trying. Hey, thanks to you, man. I ain't gonna lie. You put me on. Like I got in that hood at like $40. So and then Palantir. You already know about Palantir, and then obviously Tesla. So I'm just being around the right people, just putting those gems in there. It's always about who you with and your team. You can always do it by yourself, but you go further when you extend that hand to your brother to pull them up. You see what I'm saying? So, but that's it. I'm done, y'all. Y'all got it. Y'all got it.
Hey man, we appreciate you, brother, man. We appreciate you, bro. Anybody else? What y'all went through this year? How y'all feel about this year? What y'all learn? What can y'all give to the group, man?
Man, I'll hop on real quick, man. Charles, first off, shout out to you, man. I appreciate you sharing that and being vulnerable about, your lane. For the guys who don't know me, man, I got a lot going on, so I'm a little bit of in and out, man. So sorry for the inconsistency, but I appreciate being able to come here and learn, bro. It fills me up, bro. It gets me excited about learning more, sharpening my saw, and reading. But as far as the takeaway from this year, man, we talk about a lot about what we control, our certifications, our education, and our experience, bro. I love that so much. But one thing that I got shown this year in my transition of my job was that sometimes it's not always who you know.
Mm,
Sometimes it's who knows you and why do
yeah,
they know you?
yeah.
Because I got a position this year that I didn't apply for. The person
Mm,
that was hiring for the position, more than two people, it was actually a total of three, reached out to her as she posted the job, like, hey, you should holler at this person. And it was me. And none of them three people know each other. So all I said it is like for the last probably about 5, 6 years, I've been putting myself out there, bro, twice, two, three times, four times, sometimes 6 times a month. Trying to meet with high level professionals in my lane and different lanes, all minorities, because it establishes relationships. So I got a strong phone and it plays out well because I'm like, man, I didn't spend time meeting with these people, not asking for things. That's where people go wrong. People be trying to meet with folk and they asking for stuff. They want access. They want free game. And it's like, no, how oftentimes are you just cultivating relationship? Y'all be shocked the amount of people that I bump into and just off the strength of building a relationship. I'm like, hey man, yeah, how was your son's baseball season? Dude, a millionaire. And then because I asked him that, and he's like, man, you really cared about what I was talking about that day. I thought you was just, you know what I'm saying, listening to me, whatever. Dude invite me to his crib. Now he's sharing keys to the game. So it's like little stuff like that where it's like it's a ripple down effect as you build relationships. Don't necessarily do it with agenda, but just know like you reap what you sow. You know what I'm saying? I haven't always lived like this, but when I start turning up, it started from the fabric of being genuine to people and developing relationships with people and not always having your hand out. You know what I'm saying? And then if you do have an ask, don't let that be the first thing that come out of your mouth. Like I learned from my mentor, like as I'm meeting these high level professionals, you know what I'm saying? They always being asked for stuff from their staff, they always trying to figure out problems. I got a last thing I'm gonna say. There's the first black bank in Indianapolis is called Generations Bank. I'm not sure if y'all familiar, but they're opening up two branches. The CEO of that bank used to work for Chase, then transitioned to Old National, and me and him just in our own walks of life had bumped into each other, right? Me and this cat got a strong relationship, so strong that he called me into his office one day. I don't work for him. We work in the same building. He hit me and was like, hey, yo, B, let's rap real quick. I got some questions for you. I'm like, oh, snap. What's going on? He too pit. At this point in my mind, he was too big for him to reach out to me. But then I noticed something as soon as I sat down. He started asking me questions about my walk, my journey, what I do for my job, all coming out to the fact that he was like, man, I appreciate the fact that every time you see me, you ask me how I'm doing and you follow up on previous conversation. He said, you'd be shocked the amount of people that as soon as we start talking, they try to talk about work and stuff they want from me. He was like, it's refreshing to talk to a young black man who's never asked me for anything and gives his best on a consistent basis, even when he think nobody watching. He was like, that right there is going to continue to set you apart. That fueled me, bro, because I see how there's a disconnect. We all trying to figure it out. So as y'all meeting people and cultivate relationships, keep that in your back pocket of like, hey, relationships run the world. Yeah, money does too, but relationships can get you in rooms that money can't.
Come on now. Come on now. Man, that was it right there, bro. Hey, you said it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. That's fire, bro. That's fire. Anybody else got man, Braylon, appreciate you, man. Anybody got else what they
Yeah,
learned here?
yeah, I want to chime in. My name's Tevin, by the way. I'm new to the ecosystem. I'm just, throwing myself out there because, I just love the energy. This is my first, official call with everybody.
Yes, sir,
And,
Ted.
so I just want to throw myself out there. But I'm in the real estate space as well as capital advising. I met Nate through, playing basketball. Um, this year was a great year. Definitely a tough year. I lost my father and uncle in the same month, so it's
Yeah.
definitely tough. You know, um, but just definitely grateful. I'm someone that I don't like to dwell or like really look on like hardship. I just look on moving forward and just attacking the day every day. So, I'm open to connect. I love sharing game as well. I love learning. I like to, throw myself in a variety of different ventures. Um, I played professional basketball in South Africa not too long ago too. So I like to do just a jack of all trades. But as far as just piggybacking off what was said, man, like relationships is definitely it definitely is about changing your environment and just being around people that you can just look at and just be like, yo, this is my brother. Like, I can share this relationship with this person and I can grow with this person and just, you know, for those who can relate, just growing up in an environment where it feels that everybody's not with you, especially family or people that you grow up around day ones. And then when you finally leave your environment or, take on a niche that is able to, just give out your purpose, show you what you've been working towards, you're able just to see who's really with you. And like I said, I just wanted to just throw myself out there and just, open the network,
Good.
man.
Now you good. And Tev, man, you Tev, if everybody don't know, I know everybody don't know him, but Tev has always been, with his head right on his shoulders, man. Just need to be in the right environment. That's really all it be. I think Trap has said, I don't know if it was Trap or I was listening to Jim Jones. Someone said it, but he said that you can be the right seed and not grow because you're in the wrong environment. And that same exact seed can be put in the right soil and you can blossom into an oak tree. And that's just about, you already having the skill set or you having the right mindset. But then being planted in the right soil or the right environment is really what's going to change your life. I told Lante this earlier. And he could say it, I'm actually having him say it, but I said there's only one thing standing in between you right now and the life that you want. You remember what I said?
A relationship. A relationship, man. Who you know, man.
Literally, a relationship. I said, man, right now and a life that you want, the only thing in between is a connection or a relationship, bro. Like the right connection, right call, right person, will give you that opportunity that you've been looking for. And that's kind of how we're gonna wrap the call up. With the Health Tech CEO. I had another meeting with him, man. I know y'all seen on my story I posted that he's working on a $6 billion exit. $6 billion exit in the next 2 years. Remember, this is a black man from Chicago that lives out here in Dallas, lost it all at around 45, right? 14 years later, he's 59 now. He's richer than he's ever been. He said he had like $0 in his account where they had to live in a hotel. And from that to where he is today, they just signed it, bro. They just signed a deal that I'm not allowed to talk about. Well, they ain't signed it, but they set up the formation from the deal. Just know Ian has said their name multiple times. And you know, they're a big dog out here that they just signed a deal with in a medical and a financial industry. So just sitting with him yesterday, and he's just telling me, yo, you know, what y'all doing right now is stuff that he only dreamed to do when he was our age. He said, y'all are the new pioneers of the next generation. And he was like, yo, let that sink in a bit. Like that every step you take is the creation of the steps for the next generation. He said, it's going to get to a point where you're going to start realizing, he said, like Nate, Uncle Nate, you took this step. Your nieces and nephews going to be like, Uncle Nate did that 10 years ago. He already paved that way. He already opened the trust up. He already got a stock account. He already told us about buy on red days and hold for the long term. He's already paid this way. He's already done this. So where we don't have to do this and learn from scratch all over again. Bro, he said he's working on a $6 billion exit. And just like I was just saying about the connection, like most people in this position, when they get connected to somebody like that, the first thing they do is ask for something. And that's what Braylon said. They ask like, yo, you about to get 6 billion? Like, nigga, like how most niggas think, how do I get a piece of that? And all I asked him yesterday was, how can I help you execute your vision to make sure this 6 billion goes the way you see it go through? I'm not asking for no money. I'm not asking for nothing. Bro, remember, sometimes your blessing is going to be in helping somebody for free. I see Malcolm posting this content every day, giving away this free game every day. Yo, his blessing is coming every day, and his blessing is on the way. Bro, sometimes your blessing is going to be from you helping other people for free. Helping other people do something that they trying to get done. Zig Ziglar said, you help enough people get what they want, you eventually gonna get what you want. So while we sitting there talking at the dinner table yesterday, you know, he's just telling me about what it takes to get to that level, to get to 100 M's, to get to 500 M's, to get to that $1 billion number that you're looking for. And he said, most people are not gonna do it. He said, I'm gonna just tell you this. He said, Nate, you have to have an insane obsession with the commitment to improvement. I'm going to say it one more time. He said, you have to have an insane obsession with the commitment to improvement. You have to be so obsessed with improvement that there is no looking back. Every single day, you're trying to improve at something. Like you have to be so insanely obsessed with improving that once you get on that frequency, you'll have everything that you want. Because there will be nothing in your life that is not elevated to the next level. Your eating habits, your relationships, your money, your business decisions, your decisions that you make outside of business, right? Everything that you have, he said you have to have an insane obsession to the commitment to improve. Yo, this is bro, he's about to have $1 billion, bro. When you have somebody like that talking to you, bro, you take them serious, bro. You take them serious, bro. So, you know, like he was saying, you know, and then he said money starts flowing to you when you really don't need it. And I had to sit on that. He said, when you really in a good position and everything's straight and you're not needing money, he said, that's when money feels the best. But he said when you need it, you gotta pay this bill and you struggling. He said that's when money is running away from your ass. He said when money really starts coming to you when you've built yourself where you don't need money. You don't need it to come in. I don't need it to pay this bill. I got my bills paid for. I got groceries. I can take care of this. I can take care of that. I'm good. He said when you get to that zone, that's when money just starts falling in your lap. Money starts falling in your lap. So, man, that's our call, bro. 2026, bro, big year for us. 2026, big year for us. I'm already plotting on InvestFest August. InvestFest August in Atlanta. Yo, this year I think we had about almost 15, 20 people there. Right. My first year I went, it was just me by myself. Didn't know nobody. The year before I met Keys, right? Shook up with Keys, okay. Two people. And then, this year we had about 15, 20 of us down in Invest Fest, all black, looking sharp, ready to learn, focus, doing this thing together, bro. Networking, getting job opportunities, legendary, meeting great people, meeting celebrities and celebrities shouting us out nonstop on platforms and we building something. Like after InvestFest came the ecosystem. Ain't that crazy? After InvestFest came the ecosystem. If it wasn't for InvestFest, the ecosystem wouldn't have been birthed. Like that's bro. So, like I said, 1 year I was by myself. The year after I met Keys. And then this year I had 15, 20 of us. Next year I'm expecting 50 to 60 people to be with us next year at InvestFest. About 50 to 60 people are gonna be rolling. We're gonna be rolling deep. I don't know how that's gonna work. I don't know how we gonna get in all these rooms together. I don't know how we gonna be moving 50 as a unit through the hallways, but you know, if there's a will, there's a way. You know what I mean? If there's a will, there's a way, and God gonna make it happen, bro. 50 of us that's all on the same page, that's locked in. Whatever industry you in, you trying to get to the next level. So, Invest Fest next year. If y'all interested, I might be going back in March to NVIDIA's GTC conference. They do it in San Jose every single year at the running headquarters. That's in March. I might be going back. I went last year. That's a great trip. If you want to get in the tech space, you want to get in the computer science space, you're in the cybersecurity space, you want to get in the sales space, anything AI related, that's an event that you should look into. You should definitely look into that. You should definitely look into that. I'm expecting us to have some guest speakers next year on our calls. I already got some stuff lined up. I done hit a big dog that done shouted us out several times on the platform. I reached out to him and seen if he can come chop it up with us next year. He said, you guys gave me the best night of my life. I got y'all. You know what I mean? So if you know, you know. Definitely gonna have some big dogs on our calls next year. Gonna be chiming in, showing us some wealth strategies, how to use life insurance, how to open up a trust, right? How to leverage these tax strategies. Man, we got a lot jam packed for 2026, bro. A lot jam packed. And I think we're gonna do our own events. That's how I leave it. I got our own events planned for us, bro. I got our own events. We're gonna see if y'all can get some flights down to Dallas. I'll take care of everything when we get down here. But man, I got some stuff that I'm working on. I've been talking to some people that own some buildings about setting up a venue, setting up a event specifically for us. Rooftop vibe, looking over the city of Dallas, bro. They said they with it. They with it. You just let me know when. So 2026 is gonna be the year that we change it all, bro. 2026 is gonna be the year we change it all. So yeah, man, that was our 2025, bro. Man, I just want to say, I love y'all, bro. I'm proud of
Likewise,
y'all.
family.
I'm proud of y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all push me every day to be better. Like everything I do, every play I put in, all the research that I do, notes and notes and notes of this stuff, man. Notes and notes and notes of this stuff. I'm trying to